Friends, important amendments to the CGST Act 2017 have been notified via Notification 39/2021 dated 21st of December 2021. These amendments would have far-reaching implications with immediate effect from January 22 for the returns which you file for the period December 21, that is the GSTR 1 which you file on 11th of January 22 or the GSTR 3B for December 21 which you file in January 22. Before going to the amendments, I would like to point out here that the Apex Court in the case of Bharti Airtel had recently laid down and answered a cardinal question that whether GSTR 2A was the primary source by which the taxpayers should file their returns, or it was the books of accounts and the purchase register. The Honorable Apex Court, while answering this question, had held that it was in fact the books of accounts, the purchase registers, which needed to be relied on while filing the GSTR 3B and claiming the input tax credit. Furthermore, in the case of AAP, the Honorable Apex Court has held that GSTR 3B would be considered as the GST returns from 1st July 2017. Therefore, this amendment via section 16(2)AA has significance. 16(2)AA lays down that the claim of input tax credit by the taxpayers should not be more than the ITC which is reflected in their GSTR 2A or 2B after the GSTR 1 is filed by their suppliers. Therefore, it breaks up this GST regime to the extent of claim of input tax credit into two parts. First, before 31st of December 2021, where in case of Bharti Airtel Limited, the Apex Court had laid down that the input tax credit should be available on the basis of the purchase register or the books of accounts, and post 1st January 2021, wherein section 16(2)AA has been notified and the input tax credit claimed should not exceed the ITC populated in the GSTR 2A or GSTR 2B. Therefore, from January 2022, taxpayers have to comply with 5 conditions for claim of input tax credit. First, they should have their tax invoice. 2, they should not claim ITC more than the ITC which is auto-populated in their GSTR 2A or GSTR 2B. Third, the suppliers must have actually paid the tax to the government. Fourth, the recipients should have filed their GST returns, that is the claimants of the input tax credit should have filed their GSTR 3B, and the goods or services should actually have been received by the recipients. 5 conditions from January 22 to claim input tax credit. This amendment of 16(2)AA therefore nullifies Rule 36(4), by which from 9th of October 2019, taxpayers could claim ITC of 20% more than the ITC which was reflected in the GSTR 2A if they were otherwise eligible to claim the input tax credit. This 20% was reduced from 1st January 2020 to 10% and from 1st January 2021 to 5%. As of now, therefore, if month on month you are claiming input tax credit more to the extent of 5% than what was reflected in your GSTR 2A or 2B, from January 2022, you shall not be allowed to do it. You can claim only that much input tax credit which is available in your GSTR 2A or GSTR 2B. Even many taxpayers for the month of September 22, when you are filing the returns, which is the time barring period for claiming input tax credit for the period 21-22, in that time, if you were thinking of claiming 5% more than was auto-populated or will be auto-populated in your GSTR 2A, now this 16(2)AA bars you from doing so. Therefore, friends, it is important that taxpayers as recipients of goods or services, you become further diligent and chase up your suppliers in case they do not file their GSTR 1, and not only GSTR 1 but also GSTR 3B. Friends, another issue which needs attendance over here is whether to follow GSTR 2A or to follow GSTR 2B while availing the input tax credit. In our legal submission, as per explanation 1 to Rule 69, it is the GSTR 2A which is the return notified for claiming input tax credit and matching input tax credit vis-a-vis the outward tax liability disclosed by the suppliers. GSTR 2B also, as per Rule 60, is a notified return for claiming input tax credit but for the purpose of matching, as per explanation to Rule 69. It is GSTR 2A which is to be followed. Therefore, in case while filing your GSTR 3B, you see that there is a difference between your GSTR 2A and 2B. It is our legal submission that GSTR 2A is the return which needs to be followed. Similar would be the case while claiming input tax credit in the month of September 2020 for the period 21-22. Another important issue which needs attention out here is identification of the suppliers. This is nowhere stated in the GST law per se, but if you go through the judgment of the Honorable Calcutta High Court in the case of LGW Industries and others versus Union of India, a very important statement has been made by the Honorable High Court that it is the statutory obligation of the recipients to identify their suppliers. A somewhat similar statement had been made by the Honorable Madras High Court in the case of DY Bethel Enterprises, whereby it was held that suppliers should be existent for recipients to be allowed to claim the input tax credit. Therefore, supplier due diligence is very, very important under the GST regime. And friends, it is important that at any point of time, even if the supplier's registration was cancelled ab initio, if you can identify your suppliers, if you can prove that as a recipient you have taken the GSTR 3B returns, GSTR 1 return, GSTR registration certificate and taken steps to identify your suppliers, then you can take shelter under this LGW Industries and DY Beetle Enterprises. Another important amendment is the notification of explanation to section 75 subsection 12. 75 subsection 12 is relating to the determination of tax liability in addition to section 73 and 74 and notwithstanding section 73 or 74. Section 75 subsection 12 lays down that in case there is a self-assessment tax which is not paid or devolved by the taxpayer, then recovery proceedings under section 79, that is a recovery proceeding without an issuance of show cause notice, can be initiated. And explanation to section 75 subsection 12 lays down that any difference between GSTR 1 and 3B to the extent of outward tax liability would be considered to be self-assessment tax. Therefore, from January 22, in case, say for example, you have not reported a credit note, erroneously you have forgotten to report a credit note under GSTR 1, which leads to a difference between the outward tax liability as per GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B, then recovery proceedings can be initiated against you as a supplier of goods or services without the issuance of a show cause notice. Therefore, in view of such stringent conditions, it is our advice that in case there is a material difference between 1 and 3B, which has happened due to an error, it is important that before filing 3B, you make a petition before the department stating the facts and why there would be difference between 1 and 3B. This may result in non-initiation of recovery. Another suggestion is that you pay off this excess tax liability in that month and thereafter in the next month in GSTR 1 and 3B you make the respective adjustments. However, how these explanation to 75 subsection 12 would be acted on by the field formations is to be seen. However, friends, what we see from the amendments which have been made in the GST law over the past period, especially of the last 2 years, the message is very loud and clear that GST compliances being done robustly are the way forward under GST, and all taxpayers are duty bound to ensure that GST compliances are up to the mark. Otherwise, it may result in issues. Therefore, it is important that GST, which is a business tax, is to be taken as seriously as the business itself, and the benefits of GST can be reaped through robust tax compliances. Stay tuned for future videos and thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much.